The red-hot Minnesota Twins behind Michael Kadire are challenging the Tigers and Miguel Cabrera. Can the Tigers' 20-year-old rookie Rick Porcello cool off Minnesota? What new and lasting memories will be created? The Central Division is on the line all this week. Today, the Tigers continue their march toward a Central Division title. In town this afternoon, the Minnesota Twins. It is a breezy afternoon here at the ballpark as we welcome you inside Comerica Park. We're in downtown Detroit. Game one in this big doubleheader today featuring the Detroit Tigers and the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad to have you with us. This should be a fun day at the ballpark today. The Twins are in town, Rod, playing a doubleheader because of the rain out last night. And is there an advantage for the Tigers today? It's very difficult to sweep a doubleheader, and as we all know, if the Tigers can take 3 out of 4, they can clinch the division.
You know, I'd like to say it's an advantage for Detroit when you got Porcello going in game 1 and you got Verlander going in game 2. Verlander, arguably one of the best pitchers in baseball this year. If you're the Twins, you do not want to lose this first game, fall 3 back. For me, that would solidify the division for Detroit.
All right, now how about the Tigers at home this year? They have been outstanding, one of the best home teams in all of baseball, and that has to play into this series as well.
Tremendous home court advantage. One of the reasons why they're in the position they are today is they are 22 games over 500. Only a couple of teams have been better than Detroit on their own home ballpark. For whatever reason, Detroit just shows up in a big way when they play here at Comerica Park, whether it be pitching, whether it be hitting, whether it be defensively, outstanding ball clubs.
All right, now this Minnesota Twins team is not very good on the road, but in their last 13, they've been awfully good.
You know, the only person that's been able to slow them down is a guy by the name of Zach Greinke a couple of days ago in Kansas City. But you can't help but love what Ron Gardenhire has been able to do with this Twins team. They lose them or no, they really have had spotty rotation starters all season long. They've got Nathan at the back end, but remarkable what they've done the last 13. They've won 11 of those, which is the best in the American League, and one of the reasons and the main reason why they find themselves just 2 games back as we start play today.
Yeah, 2 games back. Tigers' magic number is 6, and we'll try and decide this thing in the next couple of days here at Comerica Park. Glad to have you with us. Long day of baseball today. Double dip action. The division to be decided. Ron Gardenhire and the Twins, Jim Leland and the Tigers. Stay with us. Game 1 coming up next. more games between the Tigers and Twins. The first two coming up here today from Comerica Park in downtown Detroit. A little bit breezy, a little bit cloudy. We will have baseball nonetheless, and we are glad to have you with us here this afternoon as we break open this huge series down the stretch. Ron Gardenhire has turned in his lineup card. It is presented today by the Romani Eye Institute. Denard Span will lead things off. He'll play in center field, followed by Orlando Cabrera. Joe Mauer leading the league in hitting is batting third. Jason Kubel will clean up. Michael Kadire is at first base. Delman Young is in left. You've got a bottom three of Morales, Tolbert, and Punto for the Twins. Here is the Dodge scouting report on Tigers right-hander Rick Porcello.
Porcello making his 30th start of the year for Detroit, so he's no stranger to big games. He's faced all the big clubs in the American League, and this is another big test for him today. Jim Leland said after his last start in Cleveland, he was rushing a little bit. It was a big game. He wants him to slow it down a little bit here today against the Minnesota Twins. And his last 5 at Comerica Park have been tremendous. 4-0 with an earned run average of shade over 2.
Rick Porcello has the playoff beard going as well. A little bit of an intimidating look today as he takes the mound against these Minnesota Twins. We are ready for baseball, the first of 2 here at the ballpark today. And we are underway in game 1. First pitch of the ball game is a ball outside to Denard Span. Rain out last night causing the doubleheader today, and it's 57 degrees at game time. Key here for Porcello is keeping the speedy Span off the bases.
It's one of the reasons why the Tigers were able to win that Sunday afternoon game in Minnesota last week. Span was 0 for 5 in that game, which Robertson started. And that's after hitting .438 against Detroit pitching in the first 14 games this year.
Yeah, they couldn't get him out, and he still remains a big bat against Tigers pitching. The 2-1 sails inside, 3-1 on Denard Span. Porcello, just 20 years of age, pitching in a pennant race down the stretch, final week of the season, and he has been as cool as a cucumber. There's a strike, run at full now at 3-2 on Span.
30th start today for the 20-year-old Porcello.
It's been an amazing season for the Rookie of the Year candidate. Hot shot hit to second base, and Polanco with a nifty play to start this one.
Let's take a look at the Tigers defense behind Porcello in this ball game. You got Guillen in left, Granderson's in center, Thomas is in right. Nice numbers against Blackburn. And Santiago, the sure-handed Polanco at second. Cabrera's at first. G-Money, Gerald Laird behind the plate. And Rick Porcello towing the rubber.
Orlando Cabrera, the batter. An early ground ball from Porcello. We can expect a lot of that today. His ground ball to fly ball ratio is the best among American League pitchers.
Tremendous mound presence. I can't think of a game in the 30 starts he's made this year where control has been an issue for Porcello, which is mind-boggling for a guy that's just 20 years old, pitching in his first season in the big leagues, who pitched an A-ball last year. Control never a factor, always throw strikes.
That's fouled straight back. Well, Porcello this year, the most he has walked in a single start is 3. He's done that several times.
How about that?
I mean, that's amazing. And the other thing you pointed out before the game, he has not given up double-digit hits in any start this year. You figure 1 or 2 along the way, but none. 1-2 on Orlando Cabrera.
Porcello's been nails down the stretch, well, really since the All-Star break. And he has gotten a lot more velocity with the fastball, and the slider's an improved pitch for him.
For Cabrera, batting .276, one of the additions mid-season for the Minnesota Twins. He has been a sparkling addition to their lineup and defensively at short. 2-2 stays high, and it's ripped to right field, but straight at Clee Thomas. 2 gone.
Most right-handers do not have the bat range to get on top of a fastball that's at the letters with the velocity in the mid-90s, but Cabrera able to climb the ladder and somehow hit a bullet with this fastball. Look at him get up there.
Exmo's nice. Good look there at Orlando Cabrera. 2 gone, and here is Joe Mauer batting a cool .371.
Well, you're facing Mauer just the way that you'd like to face him, although he is standing in scoring position as we speak with 28 home runs this year. What a player.
Line drive caught by the second baseman Polanco, and there you go, a 1-2-3 inning for Rick Porcello. Nice start for the rookie right-hander. Bottom of the first coming up, game one, no score. And the Tigers now will send their lineup to the plate. It is presented today by Big Boy. Curtis Granderson leads it off. He'll play in center field. Placido Polanco, 13 multi-hit games in September. He's at second base. Clete Thomas in right field. Miguel Cabrera will play first base. Aubrey Huff, your designated hitter. Carlos Guillen opens up in left. Bottom three features Laird, Inge, and Santiago. The Bernstein advantage brings you the scouting report on the Twins. Nick Blackburn. Get the Bernstein advantage. We go to bat for you.
Yeah, Blackburn has had no success whatsoever here at Comerica Park. He comes in 0-3 with an earned run average very high. He's given up 16 earned runs, and he gives up lots of hits. 296 batting average against him. Also 230 hits he's given up. But when they have needed him most down the stretch, he has really stepped up for them in the last two games.
So Granderson leads it off. Curtis 6 for his last 10 at bats. He was heating up at the end of that series in Chicago, and that was really good to see.
And there was nothing cheap about those 6 knocks he got in Chicago.
No blue pits at all. He hit one out on Sunday to start the game. Also had a triple on Saturday night. Blackburn's 2-0 is ripped to right field. That ball is down. It'll go to the corner. Granderson on his way to second base. And he will pull in with a leadoff double.
Let's get this party started.
So Granderson continues to swing the red-hot bat.
Blackburn pitches to a lot of contact. It's a fastball right down the middle, and Curtis absolutely clobbers fastballs, and the majority of his fastballs have gone right down there in that right field corner. And anytime you hit a ball in the corner, you've got to pick up your third base coach immediately after rounding that first base bag, so he can tell you what to do, so you don't have to worry about looking behind you down in that right field corner.
23 doubles on the year for Curtis Granderson. Here's Polanco now to try and move him up. Tolbert creeping in at third defensively, and Placido takes a ball inside.
This much we do know. Polanco will give everything that he has to try to hit something through the right side of the infield. But if he happens to just hit it toward the second baseman, he'll take that as well. This is where you give yourself out for the good of the team.
Breaking ball drops in for a strike, 1-1.
They say that's what Blackburn's been doing his last couple of times out there. Although still giving up hits, he's been mixing in all his pitches. The fastball, the four-seam fastball, the two-seamer, the slider, and the changeup.
Rick Anderson, the pitching coach for the Minnesota Twins. And over the years, the Twins have had outstanding stats. There's a ground ball to short. This will not advance the runner, and Polanco is out.
That's a good pitch there by Blackburn. He sped Polanco's bat up with an off-speed pitch. And Polanco hit the ball right to the shortstop.
1 on 1 out, and that'll bring up the number 3 hitter, Clete Thomas. Last night, Jim Leyland's lineup featured Maglio Ordonez. The game, of course, was postponed because of the rain, and the only change today was Thomas instead of Maglio.
And they got the left-hander Dunsing going in the nightcap here, who and more than likely Cleat wouldn't play against him. That's probably why that Cleat is playing against Blackburn. Also, these numbers kind of help.
Whoa, absolutely. 6 for 12 with a home run. Maglio will see duty in game 2. Blackburn's 1-0. Sails high. 2 balls and no strikes.
Maglio has been one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball in the month of September. Over 400 batting average for Ordonez.
Two balls and 1 strike. Well, Thomas in the month of September has struggled a bit. He has gone through some stretches this year where he's had some really good ball games consecutively, but in September he's batting just 200. What he gives you defensively, though, is an added bonus in the outfield. A very good arm, good range in right. Now the 2-1. 3 balls and 1 strike. Blackburn, 27 years old, out of Ada, Oklahoma. Went to high school in Oklahoma. So did his skipper, Ron Gardenhire. A couple Oklahoma boys. Now the 3-1. Bouncing ball hit to the right side. Easy play for Punto. Advance the runner, 2 gone. Granderson gets to third on the play, and now it'll take a 2-out hit from Miguel Cabrera.
As good as Cabrera is, it would be risky for Blackburn to try to get him out. I know you've got a base open here, and you've got 2 outs, and even though you got a left-hander in Huff in the on-deck circle, and Miguel Cabrera should not get a whole lot to hit if Minnesota's seriously thinking about winning this game.
Well, when you look at this game on the surface coming in, you probably have to think that Ron Gardenhire has decided Cabrera can't beat you, and for Jim Leyland, Joe Mauer can't beat you.
For sure.
2 of the premier hitters in this game, and certainly in the league.
Especially when you have a nice parking spot for him down at first base.
1 ball, 1 strike.
He's hitting .385 against Blackburn, and he's one of the best hitters in all of baseball, hitting in his own ballpark.
The 1-1. So Cabrera now has run the count in his favor. The Tigers got a leadoff double from Granderson. He's at third with 2 outs, and there's Aubrey Huff.
That's why they acquired him, to provide some protection for Cabrera. As Jim Leyland says, really the only one that can protect Cabrera is Cabrera.
Outside, 3-1. So Blackburn towing the line very carefully here against Cabrera. Skipper Jim Leyland upbeat before the game today. He is really fired up about this series, and as he says, I'm sure there are nervous guys on both ends, but if you're not nervous, you need to go home. 3-1 is a strike, 3-2.
Good pitch.
Cabrera, 100 RBIs, leads the Tigers. And it bounces in for ball 4. First walk of the game for Nick Blackburn.
That's why a lot of pitching coaches and managers don't like for you to throw breaking balls in a 3-2 count when you're trying to pitch around a guy. If it's not for Mauer getting down and smothering this ball, the Tigers get a run. I mean, he bounces a breaking ball there with 2 strikes. Also, you give credit to Mauer, and because Blackburn threw that pitch, but that's a risky pitch. If you're going to walk a guy, throw a fastball you can control off the plate so you don't have and run the risk of a wild pitch.
Here's Aubrey Huff. Aubrey had 4 hits on the road trip. Tigers could use a big 2-out hit here. Well, speaking of Mauer, the fact that we are playing a doubleheader today means that he probably is going to have to DH game 2, wouldn't you think?
I would think that Ron Gardenhire would DH him. He might even play him. You never know.
The 1-0. Bouncing ball to the right side. And Punto will end the threat. So the Tigers get a leadoff double. Fail to score him. We'll go to the second. Still 0-0. Comcast, a variety of entertainment for much less than a night out at the movies. And buy Arby's Bacon Cheddar Roast Burger Sandwich. Try it today. It'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's. Still filing in at the ballpark today. Game 1 of the doubleheader. The Tigers and the Twins with the Central Division title on the line here the next 4 days. And Jason Kubel leads it off here in the second. It'll be Kubel, Kadire, and Young against the right-hander Porcello.
Kubel struggled in the series against the Kansas City Royals, but his numbers against Porcello off the charts. 7 for 8.
Yeah, which numbers do you believe, the 7 for 8 or the 0 for 10 against KC?
You go 7-8.
The 2-1.
Sometimes when you are struggling coming into a series and you see a guy that you've had success against, for whatever reason, all of a sudden you just kind of perk up and you get better swings that day.
Kubel also mired in a 3 for 22 slump, and Porcello busts him inside 3-2. Rick had a 1-2-3 first inning. Now the 3-2 pitch. Right back off Porcello. It'll roll toward third. Inge tries to barehand it, but has no play. How about that? Another hit for Kubel.
And Porcello needs to figure out a way that once he delivers that ball toward home plate, he's in a better position to field his position. This is the second time in the last couple of starts we've seen him get hit with the ball hit right back up the middle. He simply turns his back, and I think that last time it hit him in the same spot.
Sure did. Backside or the hip.
But once you deliver the ball toward home, you become a defender. That's a one-hopper back to the pitcher.
Here's Michael Kadire having an outstanding year. 30 home runs this season. Kadire had a big 2-run homer against Porcello in that series back in Minnesota last weekend.
Make that 8 for 9 Kubel against Porcello in his career now.
Awfully good. Line to right field. It'll go foul.
Michael Kadire has had an outstanding year, but really in the last 13, when it was announced that Morneau would be missing for the remainder of the year, he has taken over like a team captain should. Good player, Michael Kadire.
It's amazing how these Twins as a club have really taken over. Everybody seemingly has stepped up. Right to the first baseman, Cabrera. He'll fire to second one, and there's your double play. Nice play by Miguel, who had 2 ways of going about that. But they turn 2.
It's a play that Jim Leland and Lamont and also Rafael Belliard have talked to him tirelessly about. once you get the ball in your glove, make sure you make a good throw to the shortstop. He hit Santiago right in the chest, and he was also able to get back to the bag to help complete the double play. Nice throw by Cabrera.
Here's Delman Young.
That is one of the more underrated things about a first base. Can he throw? Most guys can field, but can he really throw and get the outs at the bases?
Well, Cabrera, who has played third, certainly has the arm. That ball was hit sharply right at him.
Another double play for Rick Porcello. 24th of the year he's induced.
He's starting to roll him up. Tied for 5th in the American League coming in with double plays induced. 2-1 on Delman Young. He's batting with the bases empty in the second. Young has had good numbers against Tigers pitching this year. .371 with a couple of home runs. Ground ball back up the middle. Polanco has it. And that is that for Minnesota. They start the inning off with a base hit. Nothing else after that. They go to the bottom of the second. No score. Game one of the doubleheader, no scores. We go to the bottom of the second, and today's game is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD. It's sponsored by Comcast. Carlos Guillen leads it off against Nick Blackburn. It'll be Guillen, Laird, and Inge here in the second. Each team has a hit. The Tigers got a leadoff double in the first, but could not score. Well, we've talked about Granderson being red hot, and Carlos Guillen is right up there with him. He's hit safely in his last 6. And against the Twins this year, pretty good numbers.
That's why Blackburn threw him that first pitch curveball. And Carlos Guillen loves to jump on the first pitch fastballs. Therefore, they pulled the string on him, and they had him fooled and out in front. And then you come back with a fastball after the breaking ball, and he's a little bit tardy on it. Good pitching by Blackburn.
10 for his last 18 with a couple of home runs. And more importantly, 7 RBIs. The 0-2. Checked it, but he held up. When you look at Carlos's numbers since coming off the disabled list, he's knocked in 34 in the 49 games that he's played in off the DL. And maybe the most impressive thing and the most important thing about his return, lately he is batting right-handed against lefties. He has the ability to do that now. That's pulled to second base, where Punto has been busy already today. 1 out.
Punto may have some of the best range, if not the best range, of all the infielders in the American League.
I'd agree. And it doesn't matter where you put him.
And it doesn't matter. Shortstop, third base. That young man can cover some ground, cover some real estate.
3 assists already in the game today for Punto. Here's Gerald Laird. Ball 1 to Gerald. Laird had 8 hits on the road trip. Average of 229 coming into play this afternoon. Ball low.
That was good to see his bat perk up a little bit, because we know defending this year he has been probably the best catcher in the American League, at least throwing wise. And you can't argue with the way he's handled the pitching staff.
Oh, he's hit by the pitch. Gerald is drilled. Get him on the hand, the wrist. Blackburn puts a man aboard.
Looked like shoulder. Fastball got away from Blackburn. 2-0. He's not trying to hit Laird, that's for sure. But Laird had nowhere to go. That fastball hit him right off the shoulder.
The pop sounded like it hit him on like the wrist.
And Lincoln Mercury Exmo.
Well, that area is better than the wrist, that's for sure.
That caused Mauer to flinch to catch him.
Here's Brandon Inge, who was dropped to the 8th spot in the lineup. Brandon has been struggling lately. In fact, he's trying to break an 0 for 15. Ball 1.
Gerald is not a guy that would run a whole lot for the Tigers, and the Tigers really don't have a base stealing team. But this combination right here with Blackburn and Mauer will be tough for Granderson and Santiago and some of the other guys to run on. They do a nice job together at limiting the damage done by the base runners.
One and one on Inge. Brandon 79 RBIs. Just 170 this year against Twins pitching. Jim was saying yesterday he thought Brandon was fighting it a little bit offensively, and certainly the knees have been an issue, not only defensively but at the plate. And as you've had test too, Rod, if you don't have your legs, it's awfully tough to hit.
Absolutely. Can't bend down when you're trying to catch some of those ground balls that's gotten underneath his glove. And if you don't have strong legs and strong base, it's hard to generate good bat speed when you're standing in the batter's box, as he is right now.
Again, Blackburn behind in the count. Here's the 2-1. 3-1. Blackburn, an 11-game winner last season for the Minnesota Twins. 11-game winner this year. Little soft liner to right, base hit. Laird hits the bag at second. He'll go to third. And the Tigers in business again. Brandon Inge breaks an 0 for 15 with a soft serve to right. They all count. Brandon can smile.
He pretty much hit it like Blackburn threw it. It's a breaking ball at 85 miles an hour. That's off the plate. He took a half swing at it, and the ball landed softly in the outfield. And on that particular play, Laird, who's a heads-up player, already knew where Kubel, the right fielder, was playing, and he knew it was going to be impossible for Kubel to get to that ball and get him out at third base. Nice job.
Well, they chat about that on the mound. We remind you that Fox Sports Detroit goes on the power play with Red Wings Premier Week, October 1st through the 10th. More than 40 hours of Red Wings programming, including season preview special this Thursday and Saturday's regular season game from Sweden against the St. Louis Blues. It's Red Wings Premier Week starting Thursday on Fox Sports Detroit.
Rick Anderson just took a stroll out to the mound to present the situation to his infielder, his catcher, the pitcher. The stakes are high. Runners on first and third. Mauer telling the infielders what he's going to do with the baseball should Inge take off, which he probably won't. But you'll probably see a couple of fastballs up in the strike zone because Santiago's always a squeeze candidate.
Mona's hit safely in his last 5. The Tigers back in that first inning were 0 for 3 with men in scoring position. And another golden opportunity here with a man at third and less than 2 outs.
They must score this run.
Sunshine peeking through the clouds right now. One ball and one strike on Santiago. Had himself a pretty good road trip. 8 for 19.
And two of your better managers in all of baseball. And Leland and Gardenhire. And Gardenhire knows that Santiago has squeezed a few times this year already for the Tigers.
Now the 1-1. Line drive off the glove of the first baseman, Kadire. This will get a run in. Inge on his way to second, pulls in there, and Santiago has an RBI single. Tigers take the lead.
Kadire at first base is not expecting to get a sizzling line drive off the bat of Santiago in his direction, but when you throw a guy a breaking ball that does not have a lot of power, and Santiago would fall in that category, every now and then they catch one just right, and he was not able to shuffle off that bag and make that play at the same time when he was holding Brandon Inge on.
Third Tigers hit of the afternoon already. They lead 1-0, and here's Granderson. Curtis had a two-base hit in the first but did not score. Grandy now 7 for his last 11. There's a strike. 1-1. The hit batter, Gerald Laird, comes around to score. Lifted in the air toward left, slicing away, and this one will land foul.
Delman Young in left field plays deep. But he always plays deep. I noticed that about him, and in the Metrodome in Minnesota, he plays a very deep left field.
Still backing up.
A right fielder by trade. He came up in the Tampa organization as a right fielder.
Ooh, that was close. It missed the inside corner. Randy Marsh thought about it. 2-2 on Granderson. Tigers have taken the lead. Now the RBI hit by Santiago. Laird's still feeling it after being hit by the pitch. There's a high fly ball into left, hit pretty well. Young going back, still going back to the warning track. Inge will tag up and move to third. Granderson is out, 2 gone.
Granderson couldn't quite get it up in that jet stream blowing out to left field. It's blowing out at a pretty crisp pace, but he didn't hit that ball that well. Anything hit to left today is going to fly out of here. Look at those flags. That's blowing out to left field, which is a pretty true indication of which direction the wind truly is blowing. Those are the flags that you pay the most attention to here at Comerica Park.
Here's Polanco.
Good thing Young was playing deep.
Yeah, he got there quite easily. Inge at third base. And Polanco looking for the 2-out hit. Strike one. Placido has been a very good hitter at home this year, and really for the most part of this season a much better hitter at home, but in the month of September he's picked it up on the road, and the numbers are evening up a little bit, but still 303 here at Comerica. A slow roller back to the mound. Blackburn will be able to get out of this with only 1 run. So the Tigers settle for 1. Laird hit by a pitch to start things off. Inge with a base hit, and Santiago delivers. Tigers trying to get into the playoffs one more time this year. Gerald Laird hit by a pitch, comes around to score the game's first run. And the Tigers are up 1-0 as we go to the top of the third. Game 1 of 2 here today. We'll have a 7:05 game as well tonight. Jose Morales, the designated hitter, stands in against Rick Porcello.
You know, you asked a question earlier in the game about Mauer. Does he play in the nightcap here against Verlander, being an everyday catcher, and of course the games being very important for Minnesota. What does Jim Leyland do with Laird, with a left-hander on the mound in that nightcap in Dunsing? Does he play Avila?
Very good question. Very good question. I mean, it's asking an awful lot, and obviously you have to lean on your veterans this time of the year. I mean, there's a week to go, and you're trying to get to the playoffs, but to catch 18 innings is an awful lot. I have a sneaking suspicion he comes out with Laird in game 2. But we'll see. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fouled back.
Porcello's got that good firm fastball that he has had pretty much the entire second half of the year. He went through the first half of the year pretty much pitching right around 88 to 91 miles an hour, but they gave him a nice break, 16 days to be exact, including the All-Star game, and he came back throwing 95, 96 miles an hour.
Seemed to help. I was listening to the radio coming in today, and they were kind of looking at the way the Tigers handled Porcello and comparing it to how the Yankees handled Jabba Chamberlain. They just pretty much watched his pitch count, whereas Porcello was given that long break that you mentioned. And maybe that was the better way of going about it. Now, obviously, they've watched Porcello's innings as well.
You know, the Tigers starting to tip their hand a little bit as how they decided to treat Porcello when the season even began. I think it was agreed upon between David Dombrowski and also Jim Leyland that he wouldn't throw over 100 pitches. They would stay anywhere between 80 and 100, which they pretty much have done with the exception of 2 starts.
Well, he threw 100 pitches against these Minnesota Twins in his last start. And 103 against Toronto a couple of starts ago.
And Jim has done a magnificent job with Porcello. And the hitters have also backed Porcello pretty well, because that makes it a little easier for Jim to get him out of games after the 5th inning.
Got him, strike 3.
I see you, Ricky.
First strikeout for Porcello.
Looked like a little swing back fastball. This ball has some late life to it. Look at that. Oh, how about that? A sinker at the waistline.
Well, here's the innings comparison, the breakdown for Porcello. He has been better through the first couple of innings of a game. As Matt Tolbert steps in. 1 ball and no strikes on Tolbert, batting .225. There's a strike called, 1-1. We were talking before the game about the importance of this game 1, and obviously if the Tigers win game 1, there is extreme pressure on Minnesota. An awkward swing there by Tolbert. And if Minnesota wins game 1, then the Tigers obviously feel that they're going to have to get game 2, otherwise let these guys back in.
But they have one of the best pitchers in all of baseball going in game 2, does Detroit, and that's Verlander. And Verlander has shown in big games this year, he has totally been up for the task.
1-2 on Tolbert. Popped up, foul ground. Inge will get there. 2 gone.
How about Minnesota, though, in the last 3 games they played? They got to see Greinke, which they saw on Sunday, Porcello here today, and Verlander later on today. That's tough duty.
No easy task. And they'll see Greinke again, won't they? At the end of the year.
Yes.
2 outs for Nick Punto. Well, as valuable as Punto is with the glove, he hits only .231, and Tigers pitching has manhandled him this year, batting only a .158 against Detroit.
He's in there for his glove. There's no doubt about that. Anything he gives you offensively is an added bonus.
Checked it down low, 2-1. Jim Leyland saying before what would have been game 1 yesterday that you know that guys like Kadire and Mauer are going to get their hits. You have to make sure that guys like Punto don't get theirs. And there's a 2-out single. Well, a 2-out base runner that'll bring up Denard Span. And speaking of Ron Gardenhire, he has told his team, you need to embrace the moment here in this pennant race.
I told our guys, step back and enjoy the heck out of it. Look around. Don't just play the game. And you know what? Have fun with this. I mean, this is a pennant race, and this is what the playoffs are like. And you know, take it all in. Enjoy the heck out of it. Enjoy every moment of it, because not very many people get the opportunity, so have some fun with it.
Sometimes you get so wrapped up in the numbers. How many games are you ahead? What's the magic number? That you kind of forget about going out there and having some fun in situations like this. And there are a ton of other teams right now that would switch places with either of these teams.
Ron Gardenhire has done just a marvelous job, really, in his tenure as the manager for Minnesota since the beginning of 2002. Every single year, they are in the hunt. Punto with 16 steals. He's been caught 3 times. But those of you that have watched Tigers baseball, it is hard to run on Gerald Laird. I mean, it is hard to run on Laird. He has thrown out 42%.
Right back to the mound again off Porcello. Inge will try and get him. Safe. Span too much speed. That's the second time in this game Porcello has been hit by a comebacker. Inge almost made a really good play to get the speedy Span. And for the Twins, their third hit. Bang bang play at first base, but Span beat it out. Tying run in scoring position for Orlando Cabrera.
Might want to throw him a first pitch breaking ball. He loves to swing at first pitch fastballs and usually puts them in play. Good idea.
And a strike, 0-1.
Outstanding pitch.
Cabrera lying to the right fielder. Cleet Thomas back in the first, 0-1.
Now you want to continue to expand the strike zone. He's a free swinger. He will swing at some balls that are out of the strike zone.
Almost like that. Did he go?
He did.
Yes. 0-2.
Expand it some more. What'd you say Exmo was? Sweet.
And tight.
And nice.
0-2. They expanded it too much, and Cabrera wouldn't chase that one.
Porcello has confidence in Laird to bounce one. You could bounce it in G Money. He'll block it for you. If you throw another breaking ball, make sure you don't get too much plate with it. Simply bounce it.
Popped him up. Back at short. Santiago races it down, and the side retires. So nothing comes of the two-out hits. They strand 2. 38. See the final results before we leave the air. Today, the Tigers player of the game. We are soliciting your opinions this afternoon. Apparently school's not in session today. Swinging a foul back by Cleat Thomas. It's good that Tiger fans have been able to come out here this afternoon, especially with the way the ball game was rained out last night. It was a nice ceremony before the game for the 84 team. The only disappointing thing was they couldn't play the game.
How about that crowd that showed up last night to watch the game and also honor that 84 team? Unbelievable.
It really was awesome when you consider it was cold and rainy the entire day. And Jack Morris among those honored.
This much we do know about Jack Morris. If you didn't already know, he was mean. That's all they talked about yesterday, how mean he was.
That's why he was so good. It was funny in the luncheon yesterday. We were talking about, Tram was talking about how he hated to go out to the mound when Jack got into some trouble because Jack wanted nobody on the mound when he got into some trouble. That's line to the gap in left center. That one's trouble. And it's going to go to the wall. Cleat on his way to second. And he is in with a stand-up double. Thomas inserted into the lineup today instead of Maglio, comes up with a leadoff two-base hit.
Thomas has admitted that every now and then he starts to press when he is struggling, which is a natural tendency to do when you're a young player. But that's a ball at the top of the strike zone with 2 outs. You could visibly see that Thomas had choked up just a hair on the bat, and that allowed him to put the ball in play in the left center field and get himself a hustling double. It's a nice swing there by Thomas.
Miguel Cabrera with nobody out. Hits one the other way. It's a base hit. Thomas coming to third. They're going to stop him there. And the Tigers have runners at first and third.
That's why Cabrera is so dangerous and one of the best right-handed hitters in the game of baseball. There's a runner on second base, and usually you don't ask your big guys to try to move guys over. You ask them to drive them in. And that's exactly his mindset here. It's a fastball away, and he absolutely hits a seed the opposite way. And Lamont, he has to hold up Thomas because the ball was hit so hard.
First and third, nobody out. Tigers trying to build on their 1-0 lead. Aubrey Huff grounded to second base his first time, 0 for 1. Huff has 85 RBIs this season. Big spot here. The Tigers have had numerous chances early in this game. Huff takes a strike. 13 of the 85 RBIs that Aubrey has is coming in Tigers uniform. He's hit a couple home runs for Detroit as well. Blackburn in more trouble. Bouncing ball hit slowly to the right side. They're going to come home, and Thomas is out at home plate. Big play for Minnesota.
That's a pre-designed play by the Minnesota infield, and it's also pre-designed by the Tigers. And with runners on first and third, a ball that could possibly be a double play ball, you give the out up at home. You still have a runner in scoring position in Cabrera. I don't know if this would have been 2, even though Huff doesn't run well, but Cleat Thomas was running right in the face of Kadire, and they were going to take this out. Now they're 1 ground ball away from getting out of this mess, but pre-designed play on both sides. You give up the 1 out versus giving up 2 there.
Now it's going to be Guillen here with 1 out. Runners at first and second. Carlos shoots 1 foul back out of play.
And Blackburn has let Carlos off with off-speed pitches in both of his plate appearances here today. And then quickly followed that up with a good fastball around 92 miles an hour.
Ron Gardenhire hoping his team can wiggle out of a jam here in the third. Step 1 was that play at the plate. The one thing that kind of sticks out about Blackburn when you look at the stats coming into the start, he had allowed the 5th most hits of any starter in the American League, and also had the highest batting average against in the American League. So the Tigers already with 5 hits, pretty much on cue against Blackburn. There's another strike, 1-2. That's updated. 236 hits allowed. Blackburn has given up more than any other in the American League.
Some good pitchers on that list, though. James Shields, Halliday, Mark Burley was on that list.
So was Pavano, and he kills the Tigers.
Yep.
1-2 on Carlos Guillen. Now Mauer wants time. Blackburn has been in trouble in every inning of this game. He gave up a double to Granderson to start the game, but they didn't score. Hit a batter in the second. That was Laird, and he scored. Now a couple of hits here in the third. The 1-2. Fouled away. I think as we looked at this Tigers offense the final month, there were, I think in my mind, at least two keys: getting Guillen and Granderson both going. And the latest results have been very good for both of those guys. Integral parts of the offense, especially Granderson. That's outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And with those two going, it gives the lineup just so much more balance from top to bottom.
Well, you've got Granderson that gets it started, and then you've got Guillen batting where he's batting, that somewhat provides a protection if you do want to pitch around Cabrera. It always seems like Carlos is coming up in a really good position to drive in some runs.
He pops it up. Foul ground. Mauer giving a look, and he can't get it into the camera well. 2-2 on Carlos. Six-game hitting streak for Guillen. There's Laird waiting on deck.
Hey fans, the pennant race is on. Be here tonight when the Tigers take on the Twins at 7:05. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
4-game series against these Twins tonight. Will be game 2 of the doubleheader, and then on Wednesday and Thursday. Another foul, so this is turning into a pretty good battle here between Guillen and Blackburn. The 8th pitch in this at bat will be coming up. Tigers already with 5 hits, but only 1 run to show for it so far. Swing and a miss, and he finally took care of him. First strikeout for Blackburn, 2 gone.
Real nice, tight breaking ball there from Blackburn. Some nice depth.
So it'll take a 2-out hit from Gerald Laird, who was hit by a pitch last inning and scored the game's only run, and Cabrera will go to the grass for that one hop, and it is scooped at first base. And a nice play by Kadire.
On both sides.
Tigers threaten, do not score, and we're headed to the 4th. They're the '84 World Series champions. The '84 Tigers were only the second American League team to go wire to wire and win the World Series. Who was the first? That's your trivia question, courtesy of Aflac. Boy, was that fun last night, even though the rain was falling. And there's Sparky coming out, and he spoke to the fans.
That man is a star.
He is. He's a rock star.
He's a star. As many outstanding players as they had on that team, that man right there is a star in the Hall of Fame.
Well, Porcello back to work now. Joe Mauer leads off the fourth. Tigers have to be kicking themselves here. Twice in this game they've had a leadoff double. Neither time able to score the run. And the Tigers have 5 hits and 1 run. Mauer is 0 for 1. Lined one sharply to second base his first time up. And he loops one in the air toward left field. Shallow left. Carlos coming in. And Mauer is 0 for 2. 1 gone.
Good pitch. Off-speed pitch. Had Mauer out in front. You don't usually see Mauer out on that front foot and swinging awkwardly. Just doesn't happen very often.
With that fly ball, Mauer may have plummeted all the way down to 369.
Oh, my goodness.
What are we going to do? He is moving in on another batting title.
Porcello's pitching today. First pitch change-ups, good breaking balls, fastballs in the mid-90s, getting the ground ball when he needs the ground ball.
Now, can he get Kubel? He has been his one thorn in the side.
Throw it right down the middle, let it get itself out.
The 1-1.
That's what you do to guys that have your number. Just throw it right down the middle and then let them get themselves out.
Does this qualify as having your number?
Yep.
8 for 9 with a couple of doubles against Porcello. Had an infield hit against Rick in the second. 2-2. Temp today was 59 at game time, and we're hopeful that the rain will stay away today. So far, so good. It's flared toward left field. Guillen on the move. And Carlos will get there in time for out number 2. Kubel is retired. Here's Michael Kadire. And he's still batting .800 against Porcello.
Kubel.
8 for 10 now. Kadire hit into a double play back in the second. Breaking ball away, 1-0.
He probably is the leader on their team, is Kadire. Of course, you've got Mauer, that's one of the best players in the game. But as far as being the leader in the clubhouse and in the dugout, that would be Kadire.
Well, I would agree because he has been there a long, long time. Kadire's first year with the Twins was 0-1. And he is hit by the pitch. Michael Kadire will take his base. Porcello coming too far inside. Tying run is on now.
Football, the fastball just had too much run to it, too much tail to it. Just continued to chase Kadire.
Left elbow. A chance now for Delman Young. Delman bounced out his first time up. Ball 1. Porcello light time 1 and 2 against Minnesota. Of course, all those starts this year, but a pretty good ERA of 3.71. One ball, 1 strike. Rick has also been good against the American League Central this year, an ERA in the 3s and a 5-4 record. Tigers much better against teams within their division this year as compared to last year. 1-2.
Young is one of those guys like Orlando Cabrera, their shortstop. Once you get ahead of them, no need in throwing a strike. You have to throw something either up, out of, or something off the plate, inside or outside, and see if you can get him to chase for a couple of pitches.
at least the last couple of times we have seen Young, he's doing a lot less of swinging at the first pitch. It used to be he was automatic on that first pitch.
I think that's something that finally Joe Vavra, their hitting coach, is ingrained into Young, is to be a little bit more patient. He has tremendous talent.
Line drive, base hit over the head of Polanco into right field. Kadire will hold up.
Too much plate on the breaking ball there. But when you have as much talent as Young, I mean, he was the first player chosen in the draft a few years ago, and you get ahead 1-2, you don't want to throw that slow breaking ball. Even though it may have been a ball, that's a little bit too close with the bat range that Young has. He would classify as a good bad ball hitter.
So the tying run moves into scoring position, a 2-out threat here for Minnesota, and it all started with the hit by pitch. Here's Jose Morales. Ground ball to second. So get him out of the inning. Thank you very much. 4-3 on the put out. No runs, a hit. 2 men left. 1-0 Detroit. Question again. The 1984 Tigers were only the second American League team to go wire to wire and win the World Series. Who was the first?
Affleck.
Well, it is the 1927 New York Yankees. They won 110 games that year. There's Sparky. You don't want to walk you. And Gibby goes deep. One of the great moments in Tigers history. There's Jack Morris, former Tiger, now doing some broadcast work for the Twins. Back up the middle and into center, and Brandon Inge, who came in 0 for 15, is 2 for 2.
You know, Sparky Anderson was telling a story about Morris yesterday. We were doing a round table, and he was talking about how he only had one rule. When he went to the mound, he wanted the pitchers to put the ball in his hand. He said Morris would slam the ball in his hand so hard that he didn't like going out there to get the ball from Jack. And then he said the next day Morris would come into his office and want to see his hand to see how many veins he was able to pop.
You know, it's funny, all the stories that were told the last couple of days about the 84 team, most of them were about Jack Morris.
Yeah.
And his fiery demeanor when he played. There's that round table that you were talking about.
Yep.
How about the story that Roger Craig told at the luncheon yesterday about Jack Morris and Sparky went out to tell Roger, go out and talk to him.
Yeah. And went out and picked up the rosin bag and said something. Alan Trammell didn't say anything to Jack.
He talked to Tram. He didn't want to talk to Jack. Jack didn't want anything to do with him.
And then Roger said, Sparky asked him when he got back to the dugout, what'd you say? And he said, you're not going to believe what I said to him, Sparky. That was a fun time yesterday. It really was.
Now Santiago showing bunt again. Instead, Blackburn goes to first. Well, it had to be a thrill for you to kind of relive those memories.
I mean, it just puts it all in perspective how special that team was. I was there for a couple of months, but that 35-5 start, one of the best starts in baseball history, one of the better teams in baseball history, it was clearly a treat. And a lot of those stars showed up, and Morris and Parrish and Gibby and Herndon was there, and Darrell Evans was there, and the coaching staff. It was a special time.
And a special team. 2-0 on Ramon Santiago. An RBI single by Santiago in the second is responsible for the game's only run.
He may not bunt here. He may let him swing, and he may put Inge in motion.
Bouncing ball to short. All of those things happen. They'll stay out of a double play. And Santiago gets him up anyway.
When a team is trying to give you an out, as the Tigers were trying to do there, and if you're Blackburn and you can't find the strike zone, all of a sudden you run the count to 2-0. And Jim knows you're not going to walk Santiago. You're going to throw that fastball right down the middle. So you take a shot at getting the infielders moving in either direction, and you might find a hole. That time, Punto, the second baseman, was covering and not Cabrera, the shortstop. Had Cabrera been covering, that's a base hit in the left field.
Well, here's Granderson. Tigers get another man into scoring position.
They've had quite a few of them today.
Tigers 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Granderson led the first inning off with a double, but could only get to third base. Good rip by Curtis. Straight back 0-2. 6 Detroit hits, so the hits continue to mount against Nick Blackburn, who started that tie-breaking game September 30th last year. Lost to John Danks, but pitched so well for the Minnesota Twins. The 163rd game of the year last year to decide the champion of the Central. Popped him up. See if it gets back to the seats. This one may stay in play, and it will. Tolbert hauls it in. There are 2 gone. Bring up Placido Polanco. Polanco is 0 for 2. It's time again for one of those patented 2-out hits the other way, don't you think?
He's been tremendous with runners in scoring position the second half of the year, and really since putting on a Tigers uniform, he's been pretty good in that regard. And you add in the fact that he's 0 for 2 today already.
Meanwhile, Blackburn coming inside, catching the corner 0-1.
352 second half of the year with runners in scoring position for Polanco.
Placido with a couple of ground balls, one of them back to the pitcher his last time up. 1 run on 6 hits today for the Tigers in a game that has a playoff feel to it, certainly playoff implications. Swing and a miss. Boy, you never see Polanco take a swing like that.
Took the words right out of my mouth. His hand slipped off the bat too.
Blackburn has had him tied up today. And he's ahead now 1-2. Inge the runner at second base with 2 outs. Checked it. They want the appeal. Yes, he went around. Lance Barksdale rings him up. Polanco is 0 for 3. Second strikeout of the game for Blackburn is a big one. Rod, I continue to be impressed with Rick Porcello. I mean, here we are, the final week of the season. Tigers really need a victory here today, and Porcello pitching like he wants to win this game.
You know, he's really pitching a good game, using all his pitches, the changeup. He's got a good curveball, the slider's working, and, of course, that two-seam fastball, always lethal at the bottom of the strike zone.
Meanwhile, Blackburn, boy, the Tigers have had a ton of chances against him, and to his credit, he's found a way to wiggle out of some jams.
You know, he's made the right pitch in certain situations when he has had to pitch in a little bit of stress. He's been able to back off and throw some off-speed pitches, which is exactly what they told us he had been doing his last couple of starts. He's been mixing in everything and getting himself some outs when there have been some runners in scoring position. Also, his defenders also playing a pretty good game behind him.
They are indeed. And one of those defenders is Matt Tolbert. He leads it off here in the 5th inning. Then Nick Punto and Denard Span. Rick has given up 4 hits. No runs to this point, and his pitch count right now stands at 71. They want the appeal. Yes, he went at Angel Hernandez. 2-2. Tolbert 0 for 1 with a pop-up. Laird putting down the signs. The bouncing ball first base side foul. By the way, speaking of Gerald Laird, I asked him yesterday if there was anybody that he worked with early on in his career that really helped him and his defensive skills, and he said, you remember Brent Maine?
Yes.
You sketched for the Royals?
Yes.
His dad, Mike, was a junior college coach in Southern California where Laird grew up. The 2-2 is outside, 3-2. And he said, you know, my high school coach was good friends with Brent Maine's dad. And he said every summer I had Brent Maine working with me and Mike Maine as well. And they really had a big impact on my defensive ability. That's down the right field line. This is going to be trouble. It'll go to the wall. Extra bases. Tolbert is on his way to second. He'll pull in with a double. So a leadoff 2-base hit now for the Twins.
I think you'll find that true with a lot of these players at this level, that they've all had someone kind of teach them along the way. Whether it be Verlander when he was a kid taking pitching lessons in Virginia. That's a nice swing right there by Tolbert. 3-2, short and quick and compact. Porcello's got some work to do pitching out of his first real jam of the day.
There's Punto. He shows bunt and fouls it off.
A lot of times guys like Punto, you know he's up there bunting. He's got a job to do. He's got to get Tolbert over the third. And when guys have the ability to bunt for base hits, a lot of times the manager will give them the luxury of doing it that way versus your more traditional way of just sacrificing. He's trying to get the ball down toward third base, though. He wants Inge to come and get it.
Drops this one down back toward the mound. Porcello will handle it. Just got it. Boy, Punto hustling down the line, moved the runner to third with 1 out.
Grass is slow today. That ball almost died before, and Porcello got to it. Good bunt by Punto as well, trying to get a base hit at the same time, knowing he can get it down. It's a nice play by Porcello, and Laird directing the traffic. Laird would not have been able to get there.
Now Denard Span. Infield in for Detroit, tying run at third base. Shattered his bat and rolled it foul down the first base line.
Talking about getting sawed off. Porcello got all in Span's kitchen here with that fastball.
He needs a new bat.
One of the reasons why the Minnesota Twins are in the position they are right now is because in these types of situations, they usually get the job done. When there's a runner on third, less than 2 outs, they're a good team. They get lots of hits, they score runs, they defend well, they play a nice, fundamental, sound baseball game.
Well, Span here has the infield in against him. Down in the count 0-1, tying run at third base. And a fly ball in the air to center. Granderson will measure it. Tolbert will tag. Here comes the throw from Granderson, not going to get there in time, and a sac fly and an RBI. Again, the Twins are able to drive that run in. That'll tie the game. Span gets his 67th RBI.
The one opportunity you give them to score a run, they have scored that run, whereas the Tigers offense have squandered some opportunities in that same situation.
1-1 ball game, 2 outs, and here is Cabrera. Strike one. Orlando is 0 for 2. Picked up on the 31st of July, right at the deadline, from the Oakland Athletics. It's hard to measure what he has meant to this team, but he has given them a little bit of an offensive presence from that shortstop position. That's skied in the air. Shallow center field. Polanco is going back to the grass. And the side retired. So they get a run. They tie it up. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Detroit is brought to you by your Chrysler and Jeep Superstores and by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Trying to restore the roar of '84 here in 2009. The Tigers and the Minnesota Twins in this vital 4-game series here at Comerica Park. Final week of the season. Lee Thomas leading it off for the Tigers. It'll be Thomas, Cabrera, and Huff. In a 1-1 ball game, Twins tied it up with a run at the top of the 5th. Fleet had a double in the 3rd to lead it off, didn't score. He pokes this one in the air to shallow right, sinking and caught on the run by Nick Punto.
That validates the point we made earlier, as the fact that Punto has as much, if not more, than any range of any middle infielder in the game. That is unbelievable to cover that much ground.
And it becomes big for Punto when he plays second base and Kubel is out in right field, because Kubel does not have the most range of their outfielders, to be certain.
Great point.
That one looked like he was going to drop in. Here's Cabrera. Big fella's 1 for 1 today, single and a walk. He had 11 hits on that road trip. First Tiger to reach 100 RBIs this year, and probably be the only one. The 1-1 pitch. Pulled right at the third baseman, Tolbert. Hit it hard, straight at him. 2 gone. Here's an invitation to go inside the Big Ten Conference football 4 nights a week with 4 unique shows on the Big Ten Football 4-Pack. Experts bring you game plan breakdowns, interviews, and analysis you won't find anywhere else. Catch Big Ten Football 4-Pack every Tuesday through Friday, 10 p.m. only on the Big Ten Network the only cure for gridiron deficiency. Here's Aubrey Huff with 2 outs. He's 0 for 2. Aubrey's hit the ball on the ground twice. He may have had the biggest at bat so far in this game back in the third. Tigers had runners at first and third, up 1-0. Nobody out, and Huff's ground ball to first was hit slowly. Kadire came home with it, and they threw Thomas out at the plate. There's another ground ball to first. And the Tigers go quickly and quietly here in the 5th. On their way to the 6th. Game 1 of 2 today, 1-1. Well, Rick Porcello and Nick Blackburn are even up 1-1, matching each other pitch for pitch as we go to the 6th inning. In the heart of the Minnesota lineup coming up, Joe Mauer leads it off and takes the first pitch for a strike. 0-1. Mauer, then Kubel, then Kadire. Tigers picked up a run in the 2nd, and the Twins got one back in the 5th. Mauer fouls it away. 3-time All-Star, was the starting catcher this year for the American League. He won his first batting title in 2006, and he was just 23 years old. I mean, the two amazing things are A, his age, and B, the position he plays. The 0-2 is hit on the ground to second. He's going to be 0 for 3 today. One gone.
For whatever reason, Mauer does not get lots of hits against Porcello. He does a lot of damage against everybody else, but not Porcello.
Well, here's a guy that does do some damage against Porcello, and that would be Jason Kubel. 1 for 2 against him today. Check swing is outside. Tigers 6 hits, Twins have 5 hits. Kubel's career has been slowed by a knee injury, a rather major knee injury, but when he was coming up in the minor leagues, he was identified quickly as a guy that was an outstanding offensive player.
Nice change piece there. 2-0. Fastball count to pull the string right there, especially against a guy that has had your number. What a pitch by Porcello.
Hammered to center field. Granderson right there, and there are 2 gone. Even his outs are hit hard.
Yes.
That'll bring up Kadire. Kadire got it started in the 4th when he was hit by a pitch with 2 outs. They didn't score, though. A couple of runners on against Porcello. Back in August, Kadire became the first Twins batter ever to hit 2 home runs in a single inning. On his way to a 30-homer year so far. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Ron Gardenhire has said that his toughest task going into next year will be trying to find consistent playing time for the 4 outfielders: Kadire, Young, Span, and Kubel. He said it's been awfully difficult this year, and you can throw the youngster Carlos Gomez into that mix, at finding consistent playing time when you've got 5 outfielders. All 5 deserve to be starting.
The 2-2 right back up the middle, and there's a seeing-eyed single into center field.
He has also said that Kadire and Span will play every day next year, so that's going to be, between the DH position and the 2 outfield positions, what does he do with the other 2? He says he wants to have that corrected when he gets into the season next year.
Well, they eliminated or alleviated some of the pressure with the Morneau injury, with Kadire coming into play first base.
Gardenhire's got that stopwatch in his hand. He's timing Porcello to see how quickly he gets that ball toward home plate, so he can see if he wants to gamble with 2 outs and Laird behind the dish. Kadire not a burner by any stretch of the imagination, but his percentage is not bad. He's stolen 6. He's only been caught once.
Not sure he's keen on running against Laird, but we'll see. They showed in that series in Minnesota they weren't afraid to run.
They get the right count. 1 and 2. Anticipating a breaking ball, and he feels like Porcello has forgotten about him. He might take off.
1-1 on Young.
Well, this is what Laird did in Minnesota. He got Alexi Casilla. I mean, he gunned him. And then he got Span in that series as well. And he also got the very speedy Carlos Gomez. So Laird was just getting busy with a great exchange, great throws, throwing everybody out.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's really fascinating to really think about the year that he's had behind the plate. I've never seen a catcher, and this is Pud Rodriguez included when he was here. I've never seen a guy throw with the accuracy and the arm strength down to second base and throw out as many guys.
Been impressive. Crowd's starting to get into it now with a count of 1 and 2 and 2 outs. And it's fouled back out of play. We're talking about how Laird credited Mike Maine and Brent Maine early on in his career before he even started into professional baseball. He had a nice base to work with because of what those guys taught him. But he said once he got into professional baseball, the one guy that really helped him a lot was Don Wakamatsu, when he was in the Texas system. Slow roller hit towards short. Gonna have to hurry. Got it. Santiago with a nice play. They get a hit, strand a man. 5.5 in the books. 1-1.
For the Coors Light freeze cam, and Porcello must feel like he's got a bullseye on his backside today. Kubel hit one off of him in the second, and then it was Denard Span in the third that hit one off of his lower leg. both for singles. Infield variety. Coors Light Freeze Can brought to you always by your Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Ricky P, by the way, with 99 pitches through 6 innings.
Nobody warming up in that Tigers bullpen.
Not a one. This is winning time here, so Porcello, I think they're going to worry about pitch counts in this game.
Also a doubleheader. You don't want to get caught getting into your bullpen too early if you really don't have to.
Good point.
Usually Verlander's going to give you 7-8 innings, but you never know.
And Laird and Inge in the bottom of the 6th. 1-1 game, each team with 6 hits as well as we play the first of 2. Oh, and 2 on Carlos. Strikeout and a ground out. Trying to extend his 6-game hit streak. Blackburn has just kind of meandered in and out of trouble most of the day, although he got him 1-2-3 in the 5th. Missed inside, 1-2 the count. Blackburn has had to overcome 2 knee surgeries. Won 11 games last year, 11 more this year. And that's slapped toward left field. A little slice foul. Out of the reach of Delman Young. 1-2 on Carlos. Tigers twice today have had leadoff doubles. Neither one has scored. They had a leadoff single by Inge in the 4th. He didn't score either. Santiago has the only RBI today for Detroit. There's Laird waiting on deck. Now it's 3-2. Swing and a miss. He dusts Guillen for his 3rd strikeout of the game.
Blackburn has really done a nice job against Carlos. Very few fastballs early in the count. He starts him off with breaking balls, soft stuff, and then he comes back to finish him off with a breaking ball this time. But the previous at-bats, he's gotten him with some fastballs. He's had his number.
There's Gerald Laird. Fouled straight back. 1-1 on Laird, who was hit by a pitch and then scored a run. He's back in the 2nd. The only time the Tigers have been able to get to Blackburn, and it took a hit batter. Game 2 later tonight will feature the Tigers ace, Justin Verlander. Bouncing ball left side. Fielding there is Tolbert. 2 outs. Brian Dunsing going in the nightcap for the Minnesota Twins. Here's Brandon Inge, 2 for 2 today. A couple of singles. Porcello has given up just 1 run. He's given his team a chance to win this game, but the offense not able to get too much against Blackburn. Rick hoping to get his 15th win. One of the major stories here today, at least to this point, is the Tigers hitting with men in scoring position, only 2 for 11. Meanwhile, Blackburn has retired 8 straight. 2-2 on Brandon. Tigers coming into the series at least wanted a split here to really make it difficult on Minnesota. 3 wins clinches the division. Checked it. He went around. Strike 3. 4 strikeouts for Blackburn. He's starting to feel it now. He's retired 9 straight. We go to the 7th. Well, it's a 1-1 game as we go to the 7th inning. Rick Porcello back out to the hill. A run on 6 hits for both teams. And Porcello's 100th pitch of the ball game is a ball inside to Jose Morales. Twins have Morales followed by Tolbert and Punto. 7, 8, 9 for Porcello. And there's a strike 1-1.
The Tigers have double barrel action going in their bullpen, which means that if anybody gets on, Jim, they may pull the young right-hander.
Way inside, almost hit him. 2-1 on Morales. There's the Tigers action. Zach Miner and Bobby C.
Good to see Bobby up after a scare over the weekend in Chicago.
Ground ball to second. Polanco under his glove. That could be a big play.
That could be a real big play.
Leadoff man is on. Polanco makes that play all the time, ranging to his right.
Yes, indeed. Just didn't get the glove down.
So Morales is on, but he will give way to a pinch runner. And that'll be Alexi Casilla.
As many double plays as Porcello has been able to induce this year. I'd be shocked if Tolbert is not up there bunting.
There he goes. He bunts it foul. Ruled a base hit, by the way. 7 hits for the Minnesota Twins. Alexi Casilla pinch running at first base. Tolbert had a double. Ed led off the 5th. He eventually scored their only run.
Casilla was one of those base runners that layered throughout a couple of weekends ago when the ball club was in Minnesota. So he knows all about Gerald Layard's accurate and powerful throwing arm.
They're going to let it roll foul again. Now it's 0-2.
Tolbert's one of those guys you get a bunt sign to with 2 strikes.
He's had 8 sacrifices. Think he'll do it again here?
I would.
Let's see if they take their 3rd shot with him.
Inge doesn't think he's bunting here, however.
Try it again, and he lays it down. Porcello will take the out at first.
That time, he was trying to be less perfect. The first couple of times he attempted to bunt, he was trying to bunt the ball down toward Inge. And that time, he just simply wanted to get it down with 2 strikes, and he did that.
Tolbert, one of those high energy guys, and he was able to get it done down 0-2 in the count. And here is Punto trying to put his team ahead. Punto with a single and a sacrifice, and he bends out of the way.
And Leland taking the training wheels off for the youngster Porcello here in game start number 30. He's got 107 pitches.
Time to graduate.
He went from taking the training wheels off to graduate
in 1 inning. 2-0 the count. Well, it's already the most pitches he's thrown in a game this year. Previous high was 104. Outside, 3-0. You got Span waiting on deck. Tigers led 1-0. Twins tied it up with a run in the 5th. 3-0 pitch is in there. A strike, 3-1. We talked about this earlier, but this is just the area of a game in which the Twins excel at, and they may be as good as any team in all of baseball in manufacturing runs and getting guys with .230 averages to get hits in big spots. And there's a ball 4, and so it's a walk to the .230 hitting Punto. It's his first walk of the game, and now Leland coming out. He wants the right-hander minor, and he wants a ground ball here. Span, though, is going to be tough to double up. So Porcello will give way in a wall side windows pitching change. Leland goes to the pen. We're in the 7th. Here comes Zach. Pitch with 1 out. Brandon Inge then singled, snapping an 0 for 15. That brought up Ramon Santiago, whose base hit off Michael Kadyr's glove made it 1-0. The Twins, however, would come right back.
Yes, the Energizer Bunny in Tolbert, their third baseman, getting a 3-2 pitch, hitting a double down in the right field corner. Then you've got Punto coming up, getting the job done, getting Tolbert over to third, and Span simply trying to loft something deep enough in the center, which he does, to score the only run of the game for the Minnesota Twins.
Numbers on Porcello so far. The runners are his responsibility. Nothing but ones from the run inning or run column down.
Now, some of you may be wondering why Minor in the game with a left-hander coming to the plate here in Span. And you brought up a great point, Mario, in the fact that Jim likes Minor in these situations because he can induce the ground ball and get some double plays on occasion. But the other reason is the fact that Span is hitting a cool 750 against C.
Oh, boy. Well, this guy's tough to double up, too. He has an RBI. He has a hit. Twins trying to go ahead. The 1-0 is lofted in the air. Shallow right field. Thomas coming on. Span is out. Runners hold.
It's a small sampling in that 750 batting average, 3 for 4, but nonetheless, that's played into the decision making there by Jim in bringing in the right-hander to get the left-hander, and he's halfway out of getting out of this jam.
So here's Orlando Cabrera. Against minor career, 214. But 2 of his 3 hits are homers. Tigers offense has not been able to back the pitching of Porcello for the most part today. They've given him 1 run, and now Minor trying to strand a couple of guys here in the 7th. Cabrera's 0 for 3. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Uh-oh.
No, thank you.
Not this inning.
No. I'll pass. Missed outside, 2-1.
So if you're Cabrera, you pretty much know you're going to get a really good pitch to hit when you've got a guy hitting behind you that's hitting 370. And if you did not get a good pitch, it would load the bases. I can't think of a better spot to be hitting in all of the major leagues right now than in front of Joe Mauer.
Can't either. Ground ball to third, foul. You got a guy hitting 370 behind you.
Nice job today by Porcello, who continues to impress everybody that has a chance to watch him, not only on the field but off the field. What a young man.
Here comes the crowd. 2-2 on Cabrera. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. What a job by Minor out of the Tigers' pen. Twins strand 2. And Porcello is loving it.
Terrific prizes will be given to random fans all weekend long. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
So the Tigers dodge a bullet as the Twins leave 2 men on. We go to the bottom of the 7th, and for the Tigers, Ramon Santiago will lead it off. It's turned into a pretty nice day here. Even though it's been cloudy and overcast, the sun has tried to peek through.
As long as they're able to get the game in. It's a tight game. This game has a playoff feel to it. You talked about that earlier today.
Just the way these teams are going about it offensively here, trying to scratch in runs any way they can.
Those games in Chicago, too, had somewhat of a playoff feel. At least that one day when Jake Peavy was pitching for the White Sox.
Bonine was equally as good.
Yes, he was.
The 2-0. Santiago, Granderson, Polanco here in the 7th. Blackburn has retired 9 straight, but there is action. Roush, the big right-hander. Maharis, the left-hander.
Ooh, Maharis has had a good year, boy.
Slap to center field, right at Denard's span. 10 in a row retired. Blackburn, who was dodging trouble left and right in the first 3 innings, has really settled in nicely. See the cloud cover here at the ballpark, but no rain. Here's Curtis Granderson. He'll get back out of play. Double to start the game for Curtis, 1 for 3. Tigers picked up a run of the 2nd on a hit batter and 2 singles. Ball outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Another foul back out of play. 1-2 on Curtis.
Blackburn continues to try to throw Granderson fastballs. He's going to get burned. Even though Granderson has not had a Granderson type year, when he usually gets his fastballs, he doesn't miss them. You have to throw him something soft and try to get him out in front. Try to get him out.
Missed it inside, 2-2. Curtis now 7 for his last 13 at bats. Low, 3-2. Full count. And a fly ball left field. Delman Young scoots over, scoots back, and makes the catch. That thing carried on him a little bit at the end.
Some wind up there.
Two-out chance now for Polanco. Boy, Blackburn has really done a job now. 11 straight. He's handled Polanco pretty well. Placido has not had many comfortable at bats today. And strike 1. Brandon Lyon perhaps getting ready to come into this game. Swing and a miss. Just off the plate, 1-2 on Polanco. Twins of the 8th are going to have the middle of their lineup coming up. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Blackburn over 100 pitches, as was Porcello, who threw 111 today. Fouled away. Another foul. Most pitches Blackburn has thrown in a game. 111. He's done that twice. He's approaching that figure right now. He's at 109. Ron Gardenhire trying to get him through the 7th inning. Here's the 2-2. High, 3-2. Here comes the crowd again. Announced at 35,000 plus today. To third base, and a nice play by Tolbert. Tricky hop stayed with it, and the Tigers are done. 12 in a row retired by Blackburn. We go to the 8th.
Tire pitch by pitch. First and foremost, you start Cabrera out with a breaking ball because he's usually sitting on a fastball. And then once you get ahead, you expand the strike zone enough until you finally get him to swing at the 2-strike fastball off the pitch. That's our Bell Tire pitch by pitch.
And so Zach Minor goes back to work as we head to the top of the 8th inning, and this will be a crucial inning now for Minor. He is facing Mauer, Kubel, and Kadire. Zach came on to get the fly ball and the strikeout. First full inning of work here in the 8th. And Mauer couldn't do anything against Porcello. 0 for 3 against him.
They threw Mauer lots of off-speed stuff today, and he's either flipped it to left and also grounded out. So they've pretty much kept him off balance, which is real tough to do.
One and two. Mauer last year won the batting title in the Gold Glove. 2 for 8 career against Minor.
He's going to win the batting title again this year.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
And probably the Gold Glove as well. Don't know for sure, but it'll be between the 2 guys right now, Laird and Mauer.
Ichiro's not close, is he? I don't think he
No, not close enough to catch him.
No. Ichiro came in at 351, yeah, 20 points below him. Outside, 3-2.
Now all of a sudden the counts run back into Mauer's favor. He got ahead, no balls and 2 strikes, and instead of going right after him, he threw 3 straight balls, and by now we all know Mauer has an outstanding eye at the plate.
Golfed foul, back out of play. This is the updates of the batting leaders.
It's pretty much the way that it's been all year long, with the Mauer and Suzuki and Jeter having a great year, and of course our very own Miguel Cabrera. He's been in that top 5 all year himself.
And much of the year in the top 3.
He'll also be in that MVP conversation with Joe Mauer.
3-2. And a ground ball to first. Cabrera on the backhand. Minor covers for the out. 0 for 4 for Joe Mauer.
It's a good play by Cabrera. He backhands the ball, and then he gets the ball. He shows it to Minor. Minor catches the ball first and then looks to the bag, which is very good. He even slowed down, so he didn't want to run the risk of trying to catch the ball and find the bag at the same time, knowing that Mauer wouldn't beat that play out. That's how you draw it up. So many times you see that pitcher going to cover, and he gets to the bag, and he's trying to find the bag and catch the baseball at the same time, and you see some throws mishandled.
Jason Kubel 1 for 3. 3 for 8 against Minor with a double.
Not a whole lot of people know about Kubel outside of Minnesota, but he has quietly had a career year.
90 RBIs. He's hit 24 home runs.
Clobbers fastballs. So if Minor throws one here, make sure you locate it.
The left center field. Ian on the run. Can't get it. It'll drop in. Kubel has himself a bloop single to left center. First base runner against Zach Minor in this game.
I was getting ready to say, does he dare pinch run for Kubel? But yes, he does. That ball right off the end of the bat. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Carlos Guillen sliding, but no chance of catching it.
Always interesting late in games and tie games and how managers decide whether or not to pinch run. You bring Gomez in here now to pinch run, but you take a lethal bat out of your lineup the rest of the way.
Morales, another guy's gone out of their lineup as well. The young catching phenom.
Popped him up. Shallow center field. Granderson coming in, battling the wind. And they retire Kadire on one pitch.
This is where Laird kind of makes his money. With Gomez on first base, Kadire just knew he was going to get a first pitch fastball. Just knew he was going to get a first pitch fastball because fastballs give the catcher more time to throw. And they pulled the string on Kadire and he couldn't hold up. It's a good pitch by Minor. Good call by Laird. Does the young stallion does he challenge Laird again?
Go for it.
Yeah, he has to. Laird is good, but Gomez has to run.
Delman Young swings and misses through the first pitch.
That's what they put him in for.
Young is 1 for 3, has a base hit in this game. Gomez measuring his lead is bluffed back.
A couple of years ago when Gomez was just a youngster, a rookie, Ricky Henderson was coaching first base for the New York Mets down the stretch, and he taught him a thing or two about stealing bases.
Fly ball, shallow right field, should get him out of the inning, and it does. Nothing comes to the hit. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, standing the test of time since 1849. Here is our Comerica Bank game summary. Rick Porcello outstanding again today. Season high 111 pitches. Santiago and Denard Span each with an RBI. Blackburn was good as well. 7 strong innings, 1 earned run. Ryan Rayburn will pinch hit for Cleet Thomas. As the Twins go to the bullpen, Jose Majares is on. And Rayburn the pinch hit. Ball 1. We're in the bottom of the 8th, game 1 of the doubleheader. Tigers a 2-game lead on Minnesota.
Majares has had an outstanding year out of that Twins bullpen. 67th game, his earned run average is shade over 2. In the league, hitting just .210 against a talented left-hander.
That's in the air to center, where Gomez remains in the game and is positioned in 1 gone. And Denard Span, who was in center, has moved to right field. Kubel is out of the game. So here's Cabrera.
We talked about this situation earlier. 1-1 game in the 8th inning. And Majares cannot let Cabrera beat him here. You've got a left-hander in the on-deck circle in Huff. Even though it represents the winning run, you cannot allow Cabrera to get loose if you're Majares and the Minnesota Twins. Doesn't mean that Huff's going to hit, because Magglio Ordonez is standing on that top step with a helmet on and a bat in his hand.
Driven into right field. Span is there to make the play. So 2 quick outs for Majares here in the 8th. And now Marcus Thames, with nobody on, will pinch hit for Aubrey Huff. And as Jim likes to say, he is hoping that Marcus can run into one.
If Huff continues to struggle against left-handers, Marcus might find himself getting some more at-bats. Against right-handers, Marcus might find himself getting some more starts against right-handed pitching.
Gardenhire says, hold everything. He'll cruise out to the mound.
Counter the move.
And Roush will come trotting in. So Majares is out of there. Thames is an out, which means Roush will come in. And we will be back. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox Sports Detroit HD. Verlander and Dunsing in game 2.
Should be a good one. Dunsing has had a nice year, 5-1 with a very respectable earned run average.
Marcus Thames facing John Roush. First pitch, ball one.
Rouse pitching in his 12th game for Minnesota. Comes in with 3 wins and 1 losses. And he's some kind of tall.
On the ground to Tolbert. And just like that, the inning is over. Nothing doing for the Tigers. We'll go to the 9th. Still tied at 1. Have some changes now. Ryan Rayburn stays in the game. He'll play right field. We have a new pitcher now. That would be Brandon Lyon.
Well, Brandon's done tremendous work pretty much all year. He got off to a little bit of a slow start, but since then, his numbers are tremendous. He's got a cut fastball, anywhere from 89 to 91 miles an hour. Firm four-seam fastball at 94 with great control, and a nice, real slow lollipop curveball that he can pretty much throw for a strike anytime he wants to. For the Tigers infielders now with Casilla coming to the dish and a sub-200 batting average, you have to think that he's going to bunt, so you have to be ready for the bunt.
Casilla batting $196, 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup coming up against Brandon Lyon. First pitch in for a strike, 0-1. Lyon has truly been one of the top setup men in the American League this year. The 0-1. Since about mid-May, opponents batting just a $132 with runners in scoring position against Lyon. Here's the 1-1. The 1-2 pitch. Fought that one off. Joe Nathan now starting to warm up in the Minnesota bullpen. And Nathan has done some terrific work in his career against the Tigers. 29 for 29 in save opportunities. The 1-2. Fought it off again.
Don't know for sure. And obviously Nathan is up, and just in case their club scores a run here. But Ron Gardenhire might use him anyway. He did not pitch in that Kansas City series, so he needs some work.
Two and two. Tolbert to follow, and then Punto. In the air toward left field. Hit well. Guillen can't get it. One hop off the wall. Casilla going to second base, and he pulls in with a leadoff double. Alexi Casilla came on the pinch run in the 7th. His first at bat here in the 9th is a 2-base hit.
He worked the count to 2-2, and that's a cut fastball that he tried to get on the outside corner. Casilla kept the head down and sliced one over the head of Guillen. And boy, the wheels start to turn now for both clubs. If he's bunting, he'll be trying to go down in this direction. You want Inge to vacate his position if you're the Twins, which should open up third base for Casilla. How about Tolbert his last time up? He bunted with no balls and 2 strikes and did it successfully.
He missed on the first pitch, missed on the second pitch, and then with 2 strikes, Ron Gardenhire kept the bunt signal on, and he laid it down.
And the reason why you don't go down toward first base is because Cabrera has no responsibility at holding on any runner. Therefore, he can charge aggressively from first base.
And it's bunted toward third. Lyon will take it. They'll get the out. Sacrifice works. Meanwhile, Casilla coming all the way down the line. Nobody there at third base. So again, for the second time in the game, their number 8 hitter is able to sacrifice. This time he gets a runner to third with 1 out.
Situation came up earlier when Laird was on third base and Santiago was up, and obviously that the squeeze comes into play. If you're Jim, you have to be thinking along those same lines with Punto standing in the batter's box and Casilla, who has tremendous speed at third.
Punto single sacrifice and a walk. And there comes the squeeze, and he pops it up right to Lyon, and the Tigers are going to get a double play.
Thank you very much.
How huge is that for the Tigers? They call the squeeze, and he popped it up. Oh, what a big play.
Was on the fastballs at his neck. Punto did everything possible to try to get that ball on the ground, but just a great call by Laird, a great pitch by Lyon, and they get lucky and get the double play here. What a tremendous play by the Tigers. Punto just couldn't get that ball down on the ground. He's kicking himself, but nothing he could do.
No. And with the squeeze on, you've got no choice.
You have to bunt it.
To bunt it. 22 Tiger double plays in the last 16 games. And that might have been the biggest. So the crowd energized by that double play. And Carlos Guillen will lead it off in the bottom of the 9th inning. 1-1 game in the opener of the doubleheader. Guillen, Laird, and Inge facing John Roush. And the crowd on his feet. Carlos today is 0 for 3. And he takes strike 1. Roush came on in the 8th inning and got Thames to ground out for the final out. Tigers have been out hit today 9-6, trying to win it here in the bottom of the 9th. Ball inside, 1-1. A win in this game shaves the magic number down to 4. Way outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Ron Gardenhire got 7 outstanding innings out of Blackburn. Now he's counting on his bullpen. The 2-1. High, 3 balls and 1 strike.
That is how they've had and tried to get Carlos out all afternoon long, and they've been successful with breaking balls. But Roush may have backed himself into a corner here and forcing himself into throwing Carlos a fastball.
He walked him. The winning run is on. And Ron Gardenhire is starting to pace. We're going to get a pinch runner. Wilkin Ramirez will pinch run for Guillen. So Ramirez trying to limber up very quickly.
He's got them young legs. He's loose.
just a couple of trips up the line.
Just a couple of them young boys.
Ron Mayhay, the left-hander. He's warming up. So Jim Button here?
Yes.
Laird, who handles the bat very well, hit by a pitch and scored a run. The only Tiger run so far.
And Laird has been successful in most of the time when Jim does ask him to bunt.
And he lays one down. Roush. Sacrifice for Laird, winning run at second base. And here comes a guy who's had so many big ninth inning hits this year. Brandon Inge, an opportunity to win this one as well. Time call. We'll get a visit to the mound. If this is not playoff atmosphere and tight baseball, nothing is. A tight one here today. The Tigers got a run in the second. Twins answer to the fifth. Both starting pitchers had to work out of some jams.
You've got Gene Lamont talking to Wilkin Ramirez to make sure that he freezes on a line drive and to make sure he does not do anything that would cost his position already being in runner's position. And you also have Rick Anderson, outstanding pitching coach, making sure that Roush knows exactly how they want to try to get Brandon Inge out. And more than likely, they will throw Brandon some breaking balls because that's what most teams do against Brandon. They give him lots of breaking balls. If you're wondering about the outfield arms, Delman Young in left can throw. Gomez in center, tremendous arm. Span also has a good arm in the outfield, so could be a close play on a base hit.
Wilkin Ramirez at second can run. There's a ball inside to Brandon, 1-0. Leadoff walk to Guillen. Sacrifice moves the runner up. The pinch runner is Wilkin Ramirez.
They are giving Wilkin Ramirez a whole lot of room at second base, and now Punto's starting to shuffle over that way a little bit, but boy, does he have some room.
It's a tough spot here for a second baseman because you want to hold your ground, yet you can't let a guy like Ramirez get too far off the bag.
We've already watched Ramirez this year in a start that he had in Kansas City where he attempted to steal third base. He has the speed to do so, but I think he's a little scared right now to do it.
You don't want to go back to the bench for throwing out.
No. Although it would be a great move if he could muster up enough guts to do as much. They're basically giving it to him, to be honest with you. Cabrera's playing deep at shortstop. Punto is back at second, which means you can almost get as much of a lead as they're giving you. And then you got Tolbert playing deep at third. It'd be tough. It's a lot of room. It would be a game-changing play.
Either way. The 2-1. Breaking ball lifted in the air to shallow right field. Denard Span coming under it. And so Ramirez going nowhere, 2 gone.
And as we anticipated, it was a breaking ball that they threw to Brandon in that situation.
So here is Ramon Santiago. He knocked in the Tigers' only run so far, an RBI single in the second.
Outfielders playing awfully shallow, but it's what you would expect with Santiago standing in the batter's box. Occasional power, but not likely to hit it out or over their heads.
Fouled away. Ramirez will try and get a good secondary lead here and try and score the game-winning run on a base hit. No balls, 1 strike on Ramon Santiago. Popped him up foul back out of play. Now he's in an 0-2 hole. Santiago is in search of his first career walk-off hit. If he gets one here, he chops the magic number down to 4. Brandon Lyon, a great job pitching out of that jam in the top of the 9th. Here comes the 0-2. Drive into right field, hit well. Span goes back and he gets it at the warning track.
Oh my goodness, how did he get back and make that play?
Santiago hit that ball right on the screws and he can't believe it. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Well, we're going to go to the 10th inning in this one as Don Kelly enters the ball game now. He'll play in left field. Tigers won and Minnesota won. Both teams an opportunity in the 9th inning. A leadoff double for the Twins. They couldn't get a run in. The Tigers got a leadoff walk. Now the top of the lineup coming up for Minnesota. Denard Span leads it off and he takes strike 1. Span, then Cabrera, and then Mauer. Twins today with 9 hits. Tigers have 6. Right back up the middle. Polanco can't get it on a dive, and it's a leadoff hit for Denard Span. Twins now have an even 10 hits. Jim Leland making his way out.
And Jim's got a message for his infielders as to how they want to defend this particular situation. if Cabrera's up there bunting.
Which I assume would be the call here, don't you?
Well, Span's got speed. You know, it's risky, but you know, a lot of these sacrifice these bunts aren't working. And at some point in time, as a manager, you start to, you know, possibly put on a hit and run or something, or let him try to steal a base.
They sacrificed in the 7th, didn't score. Sacrificed in the 9th, didn't score.
But the bunt is most definitely in order.
You got Mauer waiting on deck.
You can walk him, which is what I would do.
And then Gomez behind him because Kubal's been taken out of the game.
And that's exactly why there's no bunt, at least on that first pitch.
You would get rid of Mauer. Scott Olger running through the signs in the box at third base. It's the 5th time today the Twins have had the leadoff man on. And only once they've been able to score him. Ten hits today for the Twins. The Tigers have 6. We're tied at 1 in the 10th. Another throw back, and Span, who has swiped 22, standing at first base. Laird has thrown out 42%.
Span also has 10 triples. The last time they had a member of their big league squad do that, it was Christian Guzman back in 2001. 10+ triples and 20+ stolen bases. Ron Gardenhire said that he has to find a spot for Span to play every day next year. One position. He's played left, he's played center, he's played right. Gardenhire said Span has earned the right to stay in one spot next year. He's got a big lead over there too.
We tend to think of Minnesota as a very good offensive team at home when they play on the carpet, but this is the 7th consecutive road game in which they've had 10 or more hits.
They're playing their best baseball on the road down the stretch when they've had to.
That's going to get away from Laird. That settles that. Span will get to second.
And the situation changes somewhat. But Mauer still can't hit in this inning. He still will get a free pass to first, regardless of what Cabrera does.
And we also talked about how it is somewhat of a gamble to take Kubel out of the game for a pinch runner back in the 8th, because if it comes around again in the lineup, they would not have him, and Gomez is in his spot behind Mauer. And another one that gets away from Laird. Well, they're making it too easy now for the Twins. So back-to-back wild pitches.
And Laird doing everything that he could do to get down and smother these balls, and the ball just kind of ricocheted off of his left bicep and got far enough away with Span's speed, and he advances.
So a familiar scene late in this game. The Tigers infield in again with nobody out this time. Line drive to left, base hit, and the Twins will take the lead. An RBI single by Orlando Cabrera. And that's the first run in this game since the 5th inning.
And we already documented in this game that Cabrera, especially in a fastball count, can climb the ladder and get on top of one. And that's exactly what he does there, aided by the 2 wild pitches thrown by Brandon Lyon.
Minnesota takes its first lead of the game, 2-1. Now here is Joe Mauer. Strike one on Mauer, who is hitless today, 0 for 4.
And Joe Mauer will take the first pitch 90% of the time. 90% of the time he'll take a first pitch.
Well, he's 0 for 4 today, and I'll bet there haven't been too many 0 for 5s this season for Mauer.
Not at all.
1 ball, 1 strike. Now Nathan again warming up, the second time he is up in their bullpen, and they have taken the lead for him. Ball inside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
As we speak, Mauer leads the American League in batting average, on base percentage, and slugging percentage. If he's able to finish leading the league in all 3 categories, it will be the first time ever a catcher has ever been able to do so. Ever been able to do so.
They want the appeal. Not going to get it though. 3-1. 11 hits for Minnesota. 2 runs on 11 hits. There's Gomez waiting on deck. (3-1) to Mauer. 3-2.
Cabrera will be on the move. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Mauer, with tremendous hand-eye coordination, does not strike out very much. Ron Gardenhire will be trying to stay out of a double play should Mauer hit something on the ground.
Runner going, and there's ball 4.
That might be it for Lyon, too.
Those 3 runners reach here in the 10th. So now the inning becomes really interesting when you consider that Nathan is warming up. They haven't had too much success against him. Perry is now warming up for Detroit, and Jim Leland warning his infielders about the bunt here from Gomez. So they will pinch in at the corners. And he shows bunt right in front of the plate. Lyon will get the out, sacrifice, moves runners to second and third.
Minnesota has put on display here today just why and how they have been so successful. They just do all the little things. Earlier in the ball game, the first run they scored, Tolbert double, Punto sacrifice, Span sacrifice fly. And then in this inning as well, just getting it done. Sack bunts, they know how to do it.
Kadire will not bat. 4 sack bunts in this game for Minnesota. They're going to load the bases here as they give Kadire a free pass. Delman Young waiting on deck. And there is ball 4, missing outside. So here comes Delman Young.
Delman Young has grounded into 17 double plays this year. Tigers would love to see number 18.
Young has a single. He's put the ball on the ground twice in this game. .315 career with the bases loaded. Cabrera and Mauer and Kadire on the bases. There's a fly ball. Deep right center field. Granderson going over. Still going back to the warning track. This will get a run in. Cabrera scores on the sacrifice fly to make it 3-1. All three runners move up. Two-run spread now. Here's Alexi Casilla. A two-run 10th for Minnesota. It all started with a single by Span and two wild pitches. Really changed the complexion of the inning. Casilla takes a rip. 0-1 for the Tigers. They will have the top of their lineup in the bottom of the 10th. Swinging a high drive, right field. Rayburn going back to the edge of the warning track to retire the side, but it's a big inning for Minnesota. They'll bring in their closer, and they have a two-run lead, and we go to the bottom of the 10th. Sooner or later have to get to Joe Nathan. It might as well be today. He is 29 for 29 career against the Tigers in saves. And he has rolled up some big-time numbers as their closer.
Well, what a great move it was a few years back when Terry Ryan, who was then the general manager of the Minnesota Twins, they traded for Nathan, who was not even closing in San Francisco. But once he got to Minnesota, he has been one of the best closers in the game.
This will be his 66th appearance. Look at that opponent's batting average.
83 strikeouts in 63 innings pitched.
Tigers down by 2. Twins trying to get the deficit down to a game in the Central. Top of the order coming up. Curtis Granderson leads it off against Joe Nathan. Breaking ball strike. 0-1. Detroit has been out hit today 11-6. And they've stranded 8 men, but good numbers for Curtis against Nathan. One ball, one strike. Curtis had a double back in the first. And he sends one high in the air, deep into right field, way back, span to the wall, and it's gone. A leadoff home run for Curtis Granderson, and it's a one-run game.
I see you, CJ.
29th home run for Curtis Granderson. 3-2 ball game.
Nathan threw a fastball right down the middle, and Curtis absolutely clobbered that ball.
That'll wake him up with the rally caps. Now here's Polanco. Ball one. That has energized the crowd of better than 35,000 here today. Tigers have not scored since the first inning. Curtis took care of that with a home run. Placido is 0 for 4. He's glad to be facing anybody but Blackburn. The 1-0 pitch. High, 2-0. Two and one. Ooh, the crowd didn't like that call. Nice lid. Nathan ready with a 2-1. Here it is. 2-2, man. He dropped in a breaking ball.
Didn't he, though?
Wow. With a 2-1 count.
From a low 3/4 arm slot as well. Look at the arm slot. Kind of dropped down. Didn't get much depth with it. He had some width on the pitch, and I think that was by design. He's also got that slider where he's got more depth with it.
Placido fought off another one.
That may have been it right there.
Nathan gives up the leadoff home run to Curtis Granderson. Tigers need a tying runner aboard here. They've got the middle of their lineup coming up. And the 2-2. Little looper, shallow right field, and caught on the run by Gomez.
One, he was playing real shallow, and two, the young man in center, Gomez, has got speed to burn. He can absolutely fly, and he takes a really good route to get to this ball.
He doesn't run, he gallops.
Oh, he can pick him up and put him down.
There's Ryan Rayburn. That's a huge out there for Nathan. That looked like that ball was going to drop in. And that really would have gotten the crowd into this game. Ryan Rayburn is 0 for 1. He pinch hit for Clee Thomas. And he takes strike one. Critical game for Minnesota. That's driven to the air to left. Boy, Young was playing almost on the warning track.
No doubles depth.
2 gone.
And what is Comcast telling us about the velocity in this inning of Joe Nathan? 93 with the fastball and 81 with an off-speed pitch.
Nathan needs one more out. It's a tall hill to climb. Miguel Cabrera. 1 for 3 plus a walk. And he bounces one to third. Tolbert has it. And the Twins win the opening game of the doubleheader.
First place will be on the line tonight.
The Tigers lead in the Central is down to 1 game. Joe Nathan, despite the leadoff home run, gets his 45th save of the year. And the